Hi everybody, Brett Mills here at Academy Mortgage. One of my favorite client scenarios to go through is actually the use of a reverse mortgage. So many things that are misunderstood about it and misconceptions. I just want to share a customer experience. They had a client call and they brought their son with them. They owed about $100,000 left on their home. The payment was about $1,500 a month, and they were pulling in about $3,500 a month between Social Security and a pension that they had. So things were really tight. About 65 years old, and they were just looking at the viability of staying in the home, or do they need to sell and rent, and the home needed some renovations, different things like that. So they're just trying to explore what are my options to stay in this home that they'd grown accustomed to. They knew their neighbors, they were comfortable there. So ran that home was worth roughly about $500,000. And so with a reverse mortgage, you can borrow up to a certain amount of equity depending on what interest rates are and your age in the area you live in. So I ran her numbers, and it was roughly at about $176,000 total what would be eligible to pull out. Remember, they only owed $100,000 on it, and so that created, after closing costs, everything, about a $56,000 line of credit. So if I can walk you through this, one of the questions that most common comes up, and it was one of the first ones asked by the son, was simply, is mom going to lose all the equity in the home? Great question. So here's one of the ironic things about a reverse mortgage. If that home is worth $500,000, it's been appreciated about 5% per year over the past 15 years here in Davis County. So in the first year, that $500,000 at 5% means that home should go up about $25,000 over the next year. So next year will be worth $525,000. Well, if they borrow the $100,000 to pay off the existing mortgages, what that does is that eliminates that monthly mortgage payment. She'll still need to pay her taxes and insurance, but now that drops that monthly expense down to where she has a lot more disposable income based on her pension and Social Security. Well, if she's drawn out $100,000, currently that interest rate, they are variable, so currently that's sitting at about 7.75. Just to illustrate that, she would actually accumulate interest on that $100,000 of 7.75 would be about $7,750. So the way a reverse mortgage works, it's not too good to be true. There's still interest that's accruing, but they add that onto the loan balance, and so next year she would owe roughly $100,750 on that. Here's the important part to note. When you look at the net equity position, if it goes up $25,000 next year, and the cost that she loses, which everybody tends to focus on, is $7,750, her net equity position is still up about $17,250 next year. And this is how it models out over time. It can, a long ways out, get to where that equity begins to strip away. But this phenomenon grows for a long time, and because of that, she still had about $56,000 eligible that she didn't necessarily need right now or to draw out. Well, an interesting part is that remaining balance we can put on a line of credit, similar to a home equity line of credit, that is just there for her to draw on whenever she needs it. And so she's got access to the $56,000 if she needs to put a new roof on the home or do some modifications to age in place there. Perhaps she needs a new car. Over time, you can tap that line of credit and pull that out tax-free. Because it's equity in the home already. So it just provides another bucket of options and income for them on top of the pension over time. Well, interestingly enough, because the lending industry knows that equity position is typically growing, they'll actually allow this line of credit to grow at whatever the interest rate is plus 0.5%. So currently that's 8.25 this month. That would go up the $56,000 next year. That line of credit would actually grow up another $4,620. So just over $60,000 would be available on that line of credit. Now, if she pulled all that out the first day, there wouldn't be a lot of growth on that line of credit. But whatever that net amount there is, that will continue to grow over time, and that becomes a very large number over time and just allows that money to grow and provide options. Reverse mortgages are awesome to be able to help a lot of people actually as a proactive financial tool. So many look at it and think it's a tool of last resort, and that's simply not the case. There's so many cool things that you can do with this. Rather than pulling down money, perhaps the overall stock market's down a little bit right now, rather than pulling money out to live on when it's at losses, people can use that line of credit, and it just gives them another bucket to pull from for a season until that market picks back up. Then they can pull over there, and so it's an awesome tool, and with customized applications. So if you've got questions, perhaps you have a loved one who has questions, a little bit tight on the budget with the effects of inflation, has really stretch those with fixed incomes. And so if you'd like a free consultation, we can run these numbers and see if there's something there that makes sense. But hopefully that's helpful for you today on seeing how an application of a reverse mortgage can be used.